We quickly go to the job for today, looking at the discussion which surrounds the economic state of the nation, tackling economic hardship. You understand all that transpired at the announcement of the fuel subsidy removal. It was an inaugural speech, a presidential inaugural speech, May 29, that became a presidential policy statement on the inaugural day. And ever since then, it has been jiggy crazy, reactions coming black and blue. And even the NRC, TUC embarking on conversations with the federal government, dovetailing into agreements and settling out of agreements or falling out of agreement. We can't but remember that of October 2nd, 2023, where the federal government and the labor unions also met. And according to what was said, a lot was, gazetted as per what the federal government will be implementing. But ever since then, according to the labor unions, it has been a different ballgame. But the TUC chose to withdraw from the protest and being embarked upon today and tomorrow for security reasons, and being that the peace we have in the country is seen as fragile, and there is need to give room or time to the federal government to find a lasting solution to all of this. But again, if you push people to the wall, you expect them to react. So it's expected that protest, as legal as it is, should be kept at peaceful levels. And that is where the Section 83, subsection 4 of the Police Establishment Act of 2020 comes into play, where it is important for the police to give security cover to every member of a protest group, to make sure that it is not hijacked, to make sure that it goes peaceful. And looking at this, how to tackle this economic hardship headlong, we had protest yesterday in Edo State, led by the Edo Civil Society Organization. And starting from my extreme left, an array of distinguished personalities with me. I have the leader of the Edo Civil Society Organizations that led a group yesterday in Edo State on that peaceful protest. He is Omabude Ago. Good morning, Omabude, and how are you doing?
Thank you, Philip. Good morning. God bless you.
Great.
Good morning, Edo people.
Next to him is a seasoned educationist. He is a lecturer at University of Benin, a computer scientist, Professor Gospar Ekwobase. Thanks for joining me, Gospar.
Thank you for having me.
And next, they say we're blessed among ladies, and it's important to know this, that we have a very seasoned public affairs analyst with us in the studio at present. And he is Ogbefun Onyeyechi Doris. Good to have you join me.
Thank you so much. Good morning, viewers. Thank you for having me.
I was almost thinking I'll miss some of the names there.
Okay, no, you tried. Thank you.
All right, well, it's been on, and there has been some fever. I had a discussion. I think we had an opportunity to be in a forum where Professor Ekwobase also, gave his analysis on the challenges that we'll be faced with. That even at present, we have not had more of this, but there could be, some precarious moment even coming, but all of this is to make sure that we come out from the doldrums, from the woods. And this again has been a biting hardship, looking at the announcement of the fuel subsidy removal and how it was greeted by the public. And that really didn't go down well with the public, of which you and your group embarked on a peaceful protest yesterday in Edo State, Omabudiago. So let's feel the pulse of what you have as regards the fuel subsidy removal and the economic hardship that we're presently faced with.
Good morning again, Philip. Good morning, Edo people. Good morning, Nigerians. The fuel subsidy wasn't removed. It was said to be removed because it never existed. I want to establish that foundation, that the regime of remove fuel subsidy or not were mere blackmail by government on the people, and it was just a mere deception. The system that have always existed, and I've been shouting and I've been shouting and I've been shouting, is that it was direct sales. They were giving the direct crude and direct products. That was the agreement that existed. So there was never any time there was subsidy. It was rather monies that those at the top were removing and sharing to themselves, to the extent that one of the leaders came out and shouted to say that we have too much money. I'm sure you saw all of that broadcast at that time. So, but again, to create a new group of those that will be enjoying what was being kept is why they announced that. I think it was done out of just talking without thinking, no plan. A government that talks before it thinks will always bring us to where we are now. And we've been protesting this since then until it got to where we are now. It has brought about a whole lot of hardship on Nigerians because the entire economy of Nigeria is upon this petroleum product. That, because we run a mono economy, we all know it. So it's upon this fuel or crude economy. So once you increase the prices of petrol or kerosene or diesel or gas, it goes back to affect the economy terribly. That's where we are today. So the cost of everything began to go up. Even though I hear people say it's because dollar is going up and all of that, I think I still don't know how to factor that into what is happening in our economy right now.
Okay.
We don't use dollar here. It's naira we use here. So it is rather that we are not a producing nation, particularly our crude or our refined products from our crude. That is why we are suffering most of the things we are suffering now. But government gave us assurance and said in 2 months they will fix the refineries. Unfortunately, we're in the 9th month, almost going to the 10th month, and we've not seen any refinery that has been fixed. So it is worsening because we keep importing refined products. They gave us assurance again to say that there's a private one that's going to be built. It's going to be the biggest in the whole of Africa, built by Alhaji Aliko Dangote. And they said it will be ready by December, and they later shifted the date to January. Philip, we are in the end of February, and we have not seen Aliko Dangote refinery functioning, so our suffering continues. Instead, we are being told that Aliko Dangote to himself has gotten a license to be importing products. The Port Harcourt refineries, our president told us that they were able to recover in 2 months some billions of dollars from the subsidy, savings from the subsidy they've removed. Unfortunately, we are at the end of February, and that Port Harcourt refinery, they told us, have reached 90% completion as at December. Till now, we've not seen them producing even a jelly from that place. So you see, it's all stories. Okay,
but I'm sure you don't expect a quick fix-it from the federal government. Just like you said earlier when you mentioned that the fuel subsidy removal, it wasn't really removed.
There has never been anything. Do you know that they removed fuel subsidy? Did you remember? They already removed fuel subsidy twice too. So what fuel subsidy are they removing that is never
so what's
removed?
the major message you took out yesterday on the protest? Are you calling back
we are saying
the price of petrol?
Yes,
or?
it's not. It's the cost of living.
Okay.
The price of goods. Our government knows what to do. If they don't, there wouldn't have been a business of this present administration, federal government, contesting in the leadership of Tinubu to become president.
So which means you critique the policy statement made by the president, May 29, as regards the fuel subsidy?
Completely.
Okay. I think the reactions from Professor Kobase could convince you. Let's get your reaction. He said a whole lot.
Yes. It's good we look at things from the scientific perspective, based on facts and data, not based on emotion or sentiments. I took a decision early in my age to look at things from the perspective of a leader, with a view to finding solutions, not from the perspective of a follower or a sheep, with a view to always crying for bread when I'm hungry. How would you say there is no removal of subsidy when even in a vast country that owns the technology, the prices of fuel keep increasing in US, in UK, in Europe? How will you say good Lord remove subsidy? You will now ask, to what degree was the subsidy removed? There are various degrees to the removal of subsidy.
So it means it was not completely removed.
If you understand the meaning of subsidy.
Yeah.
So now, if somebody now come and say, wow, the difference between the amount it should be in the market and the difference and the money we are now using to buy it, I cannot be paying for that difference. And the country cannot afford to be paying for that difference. And therefore, it is removed. You say there was never a subsidy. That is not a fact. It's not a fact from anywhere. It's just an imagination of some set of people or persons. So that being made clear. Subsidy being removed has been removed. And it's a policy.
Can we say it has been completely removed? Because that's where his argument is. We've had one administration to another, saying that they want to remove their subsidy. And it becomes a current, current decimal in our administration.
Globally, the prices of petroleum products are increasing. So if you remove it, say, 5 years ago, and you are removing it at the price of paying 200 naira per liter for every Nigerian, and when the price increases, what do? It will not be as if you are paying some level of subsidy again. So if you get to a level, you will now say, okay, we cannot pay that amount, let the masses pay. Okay. So regulation of prices will always involve government intervention at one stage or the other. So the fact that I should want to make clear is that subsidy removal is not a scam. Subsidy have been removed at minimal level, and now it has been completely removed. Remember, and the prices are growing again. Remember, we have to stabilize that price a little.
Yes, remember vividly. I'm sorry I have to trouble you again on this conversation, because we've had this like once or twice before now. I remember vividly you even said it, that we are going to get to worse times.
The worst has not come
in the course of this agitation.
I told you yesterday.
Yes. Now, presently, we can see the groanings from the public, and it could go a long way to unsettle the government, of which the government should be looking into this direction, because we have planned protests that could be taking place now, declared by the NLC, and even the Edo civil society organizations had theirs yesterday. We don't know what this may degenerate to. Nigerians aren't happy, and if you look at what has been transpiring, a little increase in the price of fuel skyrockets other commodity prices. So how much of this do you see Nigerians can take if the federal government does not come into?
This is where again I applaud President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There's a difference between governance and politicking. If it's after vote election 2027, they call it, he will not be taking necessary policies, drastic policies, to set our foot on the path of being a great nation. You see, there's a way a sheep will always be crying for just food. But a lion will be talking about conquering the territory. We are a nation, and our concern, as at now, if it is still food, is unfortunate. That is why, as we are talking, we have left our farms. We have left agriculture. We are all in the cities. We have left the villages. Our children are not ready to be engaged in anything. And we are saying food is scarce. We have land. We have green lands. So the issue is that we have abandoned what would have sustained us over time to come and embrace oil. You just heard me say we are running a monolithic economy. Again, you can see the president now, like when we were showing the newspaper, he said something about, what do you call it?
The other
being adopted. This is a person, a government that wants to put the country on the path of being a nation. And not after winning an election, I'll be doing quick fixes. So before you know it, will be 4 years, 8 years, people will be happy and will go. And the country will be drowning.
Okay.
The reality is, removal of fuel subsidy is gone. We are facing the reality. What civil society groups, what everybody should be talking about is how do we confront this present reality. Remember, I always call it the reality, is that we should go back to our farms. forest guards should be employed and established to protect the forest. When I was growing up in my primary school, I used to hear of forest guard. But now, everybody want to wear suits. Everybody want to put on tie. That is not what makes a nation. We have to go back to agriculture. Every state government, every local government should be given target between now and the next 6 to 9 months on what we should produce. Our parents planted trees. We felled those trees without planting trees. And we say we are a nation. Where is our trees now? We now import wood from China. Is that government again? We should face reality. We should come together, civil society groups, party in power, opposition party, and let us build a nation. Otherwise, we'll keep on complaining, we'll keep on protesting, and we will not build a nation.
Okay, I think that's why we're having this conversation.
Yes.
And like what you just said, concerning, going back to the farmlands and all that. The federal government, government at all levels, both the national and subnational, they are not taken out of it. They also need to bring out, policies that will be convenient enough for, farmers to embark on this, because we have the challenges of insecurity. But let's get your purview. Do you concur with what the professor said?
Yes, of course. Nigeria must rise up to her responsibility. And let me tell you, poverty has no political party, and it knows no gender, it knows no boundary. Yeah. So it is something that each and every one is a collective responsibility, that each and every one of us must rise up to embrace this. But there is something I want to say. This present administration must be very careful in terms of policy implementation. We have beautiful policies, yes, they are beautiful, they are fine, but some of them are outdated. It needs touching.
Okay, overhauling.
Yes, it needs to update them with the current reality. Let me come in here.
What example do you have in mind?
Okay, I will give you examples. That is where I'm coming to. Okay. Let me come in here. When we talk about this poverty, remember, like as Prof said, there is energy crisis globally as a result of the Ukraine and Russia war. And today we are now talking about the Gaza war. So the implications of this unrest, civil unrest, is causing, putting pressure on energy supply. Even in Europe, in America, there is energy crisis.
And that has a way of affecting the price of gas.
Yes, I'm coming there. I will get there. Okay. I will get there. Coupled with the effects of climate change, we cannot rule those factors away. Then, here in Nigeria, Nigeria is a great state, you understand. But let me say here, our approach to tackling or addressing poverty, we really need to change the dynamics. We really need to change the narrative. We need to come in a perspective to understand that the poverty that exists in Nigeria is not absolute. Rather, it is multidimensional. And it requires drastic measures to address those dimensions that we lack. That people have that lack to assess those factors that can help them to live a life that at least each and every one of us can be comfortable and be happy with. You understand? So, but the issue here is that they come in with the approach, like policies we have on ground that the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs are handling, only tackles problem of absolute poverty, where you have programs, cash transfers, little minor interventions that can only address the immediate. Those are just remediary interventions. We really need to understand that poverty is not only when you do not have food to eat. Okay, when we look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs, we need food, we need shelter.
As physiological needs.
Yes, we need physiological need, we need clothing, you understand. But the poverty in Nigeria is beyond these three things. We are talking about people having access to justice, because there is a whole lot of violation of human dignity.
Sorry to cut in. The physiological needs by Abraham Maslow you just mentioned.
Yes.
It takes a huge and Herculean task for Nigerians
to address
be
it.
able to address it.
And me, I'm telling you, one is beyond that.
And that seems to be the lowest, the least of the needs of man.
Yes.
Even that list of the needs of man, Nigerians are unable to access it. Yes. And if you look at what happened in the fuel subsidy removal, May 29, like
I will come to that aspect of
a lot of experts have said that why quickly taking a rush
to remove completely? You know what?
That could be the reason why we are having this.
No, it is not a rush. No.
That's what a lot of people have been saying.
No, it's not a rush. People don't follow trend. The complete removal of fuel subsidy is not a rush. Let me tell you, this problem started since 1986. When IMF and the World Bank came in to introduce this to the government. I think it was General Babangida that embraced it and introduced SAP, the Structural Adjustment Program. But the problem we have is that we fail to implement policies that are fantastic, that are supposed to help everybody in this nation. We sabotage it. We are rascally unpatriotic in this country. It is so deep that...
But are you also looking at the insincerity of the government?
The failure
that the people see as being not honest.
We need to grow from blaming government. Who is this government? It is me and you. We make up the government. We must change as individuals.
But we don't run the institutions.
You run an institution.
No, the government institution, the chamber where policies are made from.
Let me tell you, do you know?
The legislature, the executive, are you part of that?
Yes, we are all part of it.
Are you directly
you didn't allow me.
Laws?
You didn't allow me to
Are you
finish.
directly executing these policies?
I'm coming, sir. I will tell you why we are part of it. You know, I told you that
by
our
proxy.
poverty...
By proxy, you mean?
Our type of... No, not by proxy, directly. Our type of poverty is beyond absolute. And I told you different dimensions. It's multidimensional. What do I mean by having a multidimensional poverty is this. No, we only talked about the physiological needs. And we didn't really go into the social dimension. We didn't even really go into the psychological dimension, the economic dimension.
Nigerians have not got into that.
No,
we are
this is the reality.
Physiological needs.
This is the reality, the political dimension. And I will tell you the political dimension of poverty we have here in Nigeria is as a result that we see governance that is not our business. We the masses. We see it.
Let me ask you this question. Are you saying where we are today is as a result of as a product of our politically naive responsibility?
We are politically naive. We don't even know what to do. We don't even know how to contribute politically to change the narrative. That is the fact. We need to all be politically active.
I want to get clear from you.
Because you mentioned the lawmakers.
Are you saying that the blame is more on the followers?
Everybody, including the leaders, because leaders were once a follower.
Okay, in a situation like this,
yes,
who takes the arrowhead of governance? Because you said we are all part of the government. We are government.
Yes.
But who is at the apex of initiating policies, making laws?
Those who voted into power.
Exactly.
Then
so are you now saying that more responsibilities are not on them to reject the process and make things good and make life better?
Look, no human being is an island. We voted them in there for a purpose.
Okay.
And that purpose should be to harmonize all our interests and present it forward. That is their duty. But the thing is that this political dimension of poverty we also face in this part of the world is that majority of Nigerians are not politically active.
Okay.
They see it that...
I'll come back to you.
Yes, they see it that it is not our business. It is their business. So if you don't tell them what to do and hold them accountable, what do you expect?
Okay, I'll come back to you. In 1 minute, I will want Omobode to react to this thread of points made by the professor and Doris while we wait for Abuja Network Center to also interact with this conversation.
I want to restate that there has never been petroleum fuel subsidy at any point. Jonathan announced one, Buhari announced twice, and Tinubu is announced again 4 times. They are removing it. Prof say it's in different degrees. That is not what they announced to us. And said Prof has been in the government.
No, Professor said that at that time it was not totally removed.
No, he
but
said,
now
that's
it's been totally removed.
He said degrees. That time it was totally removed. 2 times Buhari totally removed, and Tinubu has totally removed.
It has never been totally removed.
It has always been. It's in the papers. We can go back to history.
I can quote what happened during Jonathan's regime. It was partially removed. That was the essence of the introduction of this UWIN, Shopee stuffs, those programs, to cushion the effects. When it will now,
partial removal.
Yes, when it will now be fully removed, so that the citizens will not feel the
pinch of it as such.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, it is our crude given to the refiners to refine and bring product back to us. So at what point did you discuss subsidy? I give you my crude, give me the equivalent in products. That's been the practice. Now that aside, my sister talked about that all of us are in government and all of that, and we should participate. That it's all the citizens and everybody has failed. It's not correct. The policies does not even give you as a citizen power to investigate and scrutinize the activities of those you have elected in government. For example, she said you need to get inputs from everybody. What is the channel? What's the channel? It's
exactly what you are doing.
Yes.
It's exactly.
No, listen.
Because you and your group embarked on a peaceful protest.
No, listen. No.
It's a way of affecting the policies of
I'm talking about legislature.
Now. Yes, everything goes.
No, listen, sir. Let me tell you, sir.
Okay.
Must we continue to do protests to get those who elected?
There's protests all over the world.
No, to get what they are doing. No. The Scandinavian nations. How many times have you heard of protests in any of the Scandinavian nations? They are not the richest in the world, but they are the happiest and most progressive people in the world. America and UK, that Prof used to give an example of fixing price of crude and the rest, don't have the crude we have. My mother cannot be cooking pounded yam and I will go to bed hungry. It's an aberration. If it's our crude that we are blessed with by God, we should be able to refine the product and use here. They sell to all outsiders at the price we want to sell to them. But here, we have a system that is
I'll come back to you, but let's have an opportunity to be joined by our sister network center in Abuja, where Charity Tanko is standing by and will participate in the conversation and also asking questions to our guests in the studio. Good morning, Charity, if you're there.
Thank you very much. My question will go to the Prof. If I understand you, Prof, correctly, you talked about Nigerians not their problems to only food. So how will you explain the fact that the government is actually thinking about distributing only food, aside from the fact that they said about 50 million homes in Nigeria receive a stipend of 25,000 naira. But the crux of the matter now, the discussion has been, go and give them food, go and give them. So how will you explain that?
That is a palliative measure. A palliative measure is never a solution. And that is why it is called palliative. I've said it on this platform. The word palliative means a temporary measure to cushion the effect for a short time. So give them food for now is palliative measure. But for us to continuously give them food, we have to go and immerse ourselves in farming, in agriculture, in fishing, animal husbandry, so that we'll be self-sustaining in food. And Nigerians must be willing to fold their sheaves, put their tie, and go into agriculture. Not just agriculture, crude agriculture, agriculture based on knowledge, technology, and equipment.
But don't forget the insecurity aspect that is also big.
That is why I said.
A lot of people
That's
are not able to access
when I was growing up, I used to hear about forest guards. With time, we all wrote their forest guards. No youth want to be employed today now as forest guards. Everybody want to just be a professor overnight. Everybody want to be a banker overnight. Everybody want to be the MD of ITV overnight. Look, And some of these things is what our auntie was talking about. These are social poverty. It's a social mindset. And if we continue like that, even when Jesus Christ will win an election, this country will not move forward. So I applaud the government of the day. I've told you, I continue to say, if it was after winning an election in various states, it was after his party doing this, certain policy that he's taking is a bold man policy position. And I said, this person is determined to change this country, but the country will be crying. Yes, I said it on January 3rd, or 2nd or 3rd, that the worst has not happened. The worst is yet to come. But towards the end
but we don't pray for that anyway.
No, it is a normal trend if we accept the reality. No matter the palliative, now you give a man 25,000 a month, in a week he's finished the money. Those people that give 25,000, will use some for Bet Nigeria, will use some for this thing, will use only 50% for food. We know these are the truth and these are the facts. They are just palliative solution. So government is giving them food now because just for palliative, for the for now. So we should go into agriculture. State government, local governments. It's not federal government alone. We should be civil society group. It's not federal government alone or whatever I'm talking about. The people that really will provide our food are local government and state government. Everybody should be given a matching order. The number of hectares and what product we'll be producing. We should pump our money into agriculture. At least in about 9 months, grains will be out. Because the food basket of the world, there's war there. Russia and Ukraine. There's nothing we can do about that. That is why my civil society of God will appreciate that all over the world, the price of goods have skyrocketed. All over the world, not just in Nigeria. So we should face reality and confront our challenges.
Okay, but there seems to be a challenge. Now, it's one thing for you to say this on a blueprint and it's beautiful, it's fine. But it's another thing to have sincerity of purpose on the part of the government. Now, we've had it where, certain amounts will be given and thrown to subnational governments. And before we know it, we don't have tangible, results. We have this challenge. Now, the people are getting scared that even if it gets to a point where you share food, or you give palliatives, or you give whatever is coming from the federal government, it doesn't get to the poor of the poor. And a lot of things need to be done, like even our refineries. He made mention of, Amobida will make mention of the refineries, and even the Dangote refineries that all thought that is going to bring, a boost. But still in importation, not even refining. Now, don't you see government not even having the clues to get it right, Doris?
I mentioned this earlier. It was my first statement that this present government need to be careful in the way they dish out policies and the type of implementation they are giving us.
By this, do you mean that so far what they've done so far does not really convince Nigerians to show that they have the clues to get it right?
There have been a lot rot in the system, so it will not change overnight. It's something that is gradual. It's a gradual process.
But are you seeing right steps taken by the Tinubu-led government?
I'm yet to see.
Outside the announcement of fair subsidy removal, because they can announce it any day. What are the steps, what are the policies put in place to get our refineries in position?
I am yet to see this present government in the right track. I'm yet to see it. Anyway, I don't want to judge them now because it's still very early. But what I want to say is this. What I expected from him, from his first statement, from his first policy May 29th, I expected that he was going to give judiciary and the law enforcement agencies full autonomy, because I see that the violation of human dignity, abuse of human rights is so high in this part of the world. If we don't checkmate that aspect and give these guys the autonomy they deserve so that they can work without unnecessary interference, they can be able to execute their duties very well, in the sense that you fund investigations, you stop interferences, and you allow the judges to preside over cases. Then judges as well should also overlook the technicalities and look at the real issues and deal with them. Nothing is going to work.
Okay, but
why I said this is this, because in this nation, even if we say we all should go into agriculture, okay, people will go into agriculture. Remember, our forests, our bushes are no longer safe.
Exactly my point.
They are no longer safe. So how can you achieve
travel from here to the next local government?
Even sleeping in your house, you are not safe. So we are not in a society where there is anarchy. That is then when we had the early man, when man was inherently wicked, brutish, and short. Are you getting me?
That was by Thomas Hobbes.
Yes.
Where theorized that life becomes short, nasty, and brutish. If there's no government.
Yes.
You have a government, and it seems that life is still short.
You know why I'm saying, you know why I'm coming to this angle, that we must be intentional in making sure that our law enforcement agencies are working autonomously without any interference. Give them the autonomy they deserve. Give the judiciary the autonomy they deserve. The essence of making laws is to protect the weak from the strong. And if the laws are not working, if people are not obeying the laws, it means that there is anarchy. That has to be controlled.
No. I think that aside, what we're missing here is let's bridge and boost the trust that the people should have on the government.
If there is no law,
as we speak, the trust has gone
devastated. You know why?
To a point where if you mention any amount of money as annual budget at the federal government, the natural Nigerian will say, how does it affect the money in my pocket? Because most times we hear how monies are being shared along the tiers of government. And basically, we have this challenge where development doesn't trickle down to the common Nigerian.
Because the laws are not working. How many persons are being persecuted?
Okay, the laws
are not working. They are weak.
Let's take it because the purpose for which we are here is to take the way forward for Nigeria. Now, we have protests going on. We don't want the resemblance of the NSAS, where miscreants and charlatans, hijack that process.
I start to differ, sir.
Please. So how do we, because it's one thing to make a protest. It's another to make sure that it's guided for us not to degenerate to that extent.
Let me quickly start to differ that miscreants we hijack. Nigerians don't have miscreants.
Seriously?
We don't have miscreants anywhere. The only miscreants you can closely define as miscreants are the politicians, those providing leadership for us in this country. Other Nigerians are not miscreants. I'll tell you, Nigerians are only angry, active, and agitated people. Angry, active, and agitated people. We are not miscreants. If the system were working, you won't find people in protest or coming to hijack protests. Do you understand? Now the point here is this. When Mr. said the change cannot be automatic, I screamed, really? If the president can come up with a policy in his inaugural statement to say subsidy removed and I impose poverty on Nigerians automatically, how come can there not be automatic policies? Before the president became president, he started campaigning. He started from the Miloko, where nobody knew he was even going to contest. So you already knew there was a problem. They did not pray for the problem. So for you to say we are removing subsidy, of course you know there's going to be shortage of resources. I'm sure you should have had an idea, a plan to cover for that place. So when you say you are giving out palliative handouts, that's also an insult to the citizens of this Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Every government in its right senses will
Nigeria is too rich, Nigeria is too wealthy for that kind of statement of every country. No, Nigeria is too wealthy. The Arab nations don't do that. They don't give out handouts and palliative. They provide the solutions to fix it in it. Like I said, the Scandinavian nations should be our role model.
But you know what palliative means now. That's a temporary arrangement why the government is fixing.
So you cause a problem for a man.
To make sure that at least that challenge that
you create a problem for a man.
Palliative is just temporary.
You create a problem.
Are you saying that they shouldn't have been palliative?
You deliberately create problem for people, and now you want to bring palliative. Meanwhile, what they call palliative is another scam to divert money into private pockets. For example, Shopee was fraud. Now again, what they call it, the one they say they are doing, or the rice they started sharing recently, to some place. Where did they get the rice? How many rights can the federal government give to Nigerians? We are over 200 million.
You are talking about the one from customs. This is
from customs. Seize from where? The same rights they ban and they say it's not healthy for us. So they seize and give to some people. It's all fraudulent. Some persons are just going to make extra money for themselves. The point is this. The only thing I enjoy that I see is what I read this morning. You read on the paper this morning. That they're going to merge EFCC, ICPC, and CCB together. Okay. Yes.
Okay. But Nigerians are saying that shouldn't be enough.
No, it's not enough. I'm saying it's that one.
Looking at, because it's a way of reducing cost of governance. But the government should take it further by reducing the emoluments.
So it's not reducing cost of governance particularly. It's to reduce the multiplications or triplications of same services to different agencies and just create unnecessary.
Having double function.
Yes. Prof talked about when he was growing up, he used to have forest guard.
But it will reduce the cost of government.
Yes, it might. I don't know. It might. So let me not speculate because I don't know what they earn. Now, when Prof said we used to have forest guard, he kept insisting on it that people don't want to become forest guard. It's not true. If government put out advertorial to employ forest guards, people will go get themselves employed in forest guard. We have Nigeria, a lot of Edo people that are going to register themselves into this Edo State vigilante network. It's their money they are using to pay for most of the things they are using for the recruitment. Government is not paying the vigilante network. They are on volunteer services. Nigerians just want to get busy and active. Okay. So the truth is, if we get the opportunity, create the opportunity, put out the job advertorial out there, Nigerians will apply and they'll be trained and they'll become forest guard. You also have mentioned a point to say that there is no security. Our forests have become more dangerous than it were before. The what do you call them? The kidnappers and the whatever the so-called bush owners now. I'm talking about the bushes. So it is government's also responsibility to make policy to encourage or to build up security. In the forest so that people can go to their farms.
Let's get your reaction in 1 minute before we hand over to Abuja Network Center for a continuation of this conversation. And so we still have you intact in the studio.
I want to make you understand that. First, we say there are no miscreants. The kidnappers and people terrorizing our streets and forests are they foreigners? Are they not Nigerians?
No, they are who made them so?
They are product
of the original miscreants.
Some will say who made them so.
You cannot say government made them so.
They did.
No,
they did, sir. The kind of weapons they use, sir, cannot be purchased by these people. Have you seen the one that have been apprehended? The kind of arms and ammunition in their possession cannot be afforded by those people we see.
But don't forget, all of this also come from a circle.
So
we have these politicians, some politicians who use some as stocks and leave the guns with them, it infiltrates.
So what's the difference?
But let's get your point in 1 minute.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that we should not see governance as a set of people, as Madam was trying to say. We should see governance as all of us. And when we are talking about, I'm talking particularly to the civil society group, they should not be saying Nigeria are agitated and angry people. Nigerians are not angry people. I'm a Nigerian and I'm not angry. Nigerians are not angry people. Nigerians are not agitated. Civil society over time has become even a problem to this country. For example, when there are issues for them to address and the particular government for them to address, they will keep quiet. Until they are funded to begin to make some movement, they will not move. So let us be sincere. Let us call a spade a spade. When we are talking about vigilante not be paying themselves, is it federal government that is also recruiting the vigilante? Have they gone or protest against the state government? Some of them protest only against the government that is far.
All right.
They don't and never protest against government that is close, because most of them are being funded by the same set of government that they are saying is causing the problem.
This
so
conversation.
Let me say so as we are accusing the government, I also have reliable information how civil society groups have become a menace in this country.
Thank you. This conversation will still continue.
Yes.
I will please keep your reservations. At the time it gets to you, you can react to what the professor said. And please don't forget, Doris, you are part of this conversation. You also basically will react. But we're going to be getting questions for our guests while we take a quick dive to Abuja Network Center for a continuation of this conversation.